And then that affects how they set their goals. And I think that's such an important point. Like, because things happen, and I think the idea of the goals isn't that you've got to nail everyone. It gives you a direction, right? And so even if so the point is, right, as you're climbing that mountain, it's, yeah, you're trying to get to the top, but if you don't make it all the way to the top, or it takes you longer to get there, or whatever it might be, it's still important to focus on the journey, and you're still making progress. And so you've got to, celebrate progress, not perfection. I think that's so important. And anybody out there who has a tendency to beat yourself up for not being perfect, then maybe that could be a goal for the year, right? Is to be a little bit more gentle with yourself. So still push yourself, move forward. But if it's not all exactly what you said, I mean, those were markers to get to it. If you didn't get there, but you got, like you said, 75%, or maybe you got 90% on one goal and 50% on another, and maybe only 30% on another one, like our house projects, right? Like I said, but it's like yeah, we want to do better with those, but we don't let it like ruin our life and make ourselves feel bad about it either. So I think that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. It's so super important. So, and what was the L again? So if we're looking at the flag acronym, what's the L?
So L is lifestyle alignment. So this is essentially where we get into what we were kind of just talking about. It's like, okay, we have the values that we think we want to do or we hold to ourselves, and then we start to reflect on last year, like, okay, how did we do with those, and did our lifestyle and our habits and our routines from last year match the values that we're trying to instill and embrace for last year, and then going into this year too. So if you are, let's go back to that same example before of like, hey, I want to spend more time with loved ones. Do you have the availability in your schedule, or are you just somebody who's constantly going? Like how I think I mentioned earlier, that this is a busy time of year where there's a lot of events and things like that. And you can get caught up on a lot of different things and think you're spending time with significant others or the ones that you care about, but it might get kind of dropped and the quality of that time might not fall into. So the L is really about that. Hey, how is the life that we're living and leading reflecting those values? If somebody were to follow me around for a week, would they be able to tell what my values were?
That's good. That's a good way to put it. I mean, so if we start with the flag, right? So your foundational values, and that's kind of what you want to work on, right? And then you're looking, so the lifestyle alignment is looking more at, now we're talking more about kind of your daily routines and habits, right? And making sure that those fit with where you're trying to go, right? So if you are trying to go up this mountain, right, you've got to make sure that you're on some sort of a path that makes sense to get up there, rather than just, kind of being who knows what, right? Because then again, then you're just kind of spinning your wheels, or you're spending a bunch of energy in directions that in the end, maybe you're going to be frustrated with by the end of the year, because like, gosh, that's not really where I wanted to go. So does that sound right?
Yeah. And if we go back to the mountain metaphor, if like, let's say you are trying to get to the top of the mountain and you love rollerblading, it's going to be that much harder to get to the top if you're just going up and then rolling back down and going back up and rolling back down. So A is, now we're getting into the aspirations and goals.
Okay.
So this is, okay, hey, what is the life? What is the values that we're looking at here? And what is it that we actually want to achieve? And is it things that we want to actually achieve, or is it something just kind of like placed onto us that's kind of society or professional or something else that's kind of bestowed upon us? Is it still something that we actually want to be chasing after? And then what kind of goals are we looking at too? Because a lot of people kind of set the like weight loss goal, and they're like, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds. And then they're tracking the weight every single week, and they might get discouraged that they're not seeing that change so often. And I try to tell people, like, it's good to have the outcome goal, but it's really important to also have process goals, which are those like day-to-day kind of things. So like, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to do that by going to the gym 3 times a week. And then that would be the process goal, because I can control that. I can't just wake up and decide that I'm 10 pounds less, but I can wake up and decide that I'm going to go to the gym.
Yeah, no, that's crucial. So then another term for that is lead measures. So the things that you do that get you to that goal.